this is what the panel looks like with its first coat of paint on it. Now, like I said, we're waiting for the first of the year here in America. I don't, like the Chinese say, you don't want to discuss religion and politics because that always leads to fights. And everyone in America has their own political point of view, which is great. We have a two-party system, Democrats and Republicans. They both represent different aspects of our American life. And the reason I'm bringing that up is, and I do have my own politics, which I will not put on YouTube because I'm not a famous actor or a politician. So my videos are all about my little bike, and whatever persuasion you are in your politics, you know, God bless you, because we do have different points of view. But the reason, this is the paint I use, the reason I'm bringing this up is America is holding its breath waiting for the first of the year, because at the first of the year our former President Bush's tax cuts are set to expire, and if they expire, then basically that will be a tax increase which more people will have to pay. So we don't know if the tax cuts are going to be extended or if they're going to lapse and more taxes will come up. One thing business does not like is they want to know where they're going. So either the tax cuts are going to be kept in place, or they're not, or they'll be changed somehow. But we don't know. So the economy is just kind of waiting until the first of the year to find out which way the government's going to go. And this is what, so that's what I'm kind of waiting for, to do all my a different engine. So this is what the panel looked like when I painted it gray and got it fixed. You can see all the orange peel on it. And the orange peel is the paint when it looks like it has a rough surface, it doesn't reflect well. And of course there's a little duct right there. And what I do is I will put the base coat on there, and I don't touch it because the base coat may have light or dark spots in it, and all I need to do is put a finish coat on of paint, and then I start with the clear coat. And as you have the orange peel effect, and you can see me in the picture right there, you can see how it doesn't reflect right. What happens is if you have a slight orange peel effect in the paint, which you're going to have, then your clear coat, what that's going to do is just amplify it, because it adds more vertical and horizontal bumps the more you put on. So what I do is I put on like 3 coats of clear and let it dry, so that I'm sure that I have enough margin between the clear and the paint not to get down into the paint. Then what I will start to do is, you can see there's me, and you can see the pictures of my trees in the backyard, but it's not mere finish. And the same thing here. Once I get enough clear on, enamel clear on the paint, and you have to put it on kind of dry. If you go on too wet, what the enamel does is it'll wet down through the paint and also the primer, and it will start to have a it's called it's an effect that where the enamel reducer, which is it's an enamel. If it were lacquer, what they use is a thinner, and the two of them don't mix very well. If you can use both kinds of paint, but they have to be dry, and you can't put them on too wet. So you can see the orange peel down here, and this is clear on it. Now when I get enough clear on there, I'll take my 1000 grit wet sandpaper, and you can see me, I'm taking a picture right there, and I'll start to sand the orange peel down, not all the way, but I'll sand it down to where it's halfway smooth, and you can see the orange peel right there. Then I'll give it 2 or 3 more coats, and you can see me on that's the orange peel. I'll give it 2 or 3 more coats of clear, and I'll sand that down. And I may take it all the way down, maybe not. But what I'll do eventually is I'll have the clear coat sanded with 1000 grit or 1500 grit wet 3M sandpaper, and I'll have the base on it pretty clear, but I'll have enough margin of clear where I don't touch the base coat, because that's not what you want to do. And after you get the clear all sanded down, then the base coat will look clear. And as you can see here, this is where the basket hole was right there, and this was where it was right here. The rest of this is just a reflection. And you can see here where I've tried to get the line straight in between there, and it's a little bit off. That's no big deal. And then of course here's another picture of it before it's been sanded. And the best way to sand this, I found, is to put a plastic garbage bag over your engine and over everything, and just put the panel back on with the garbage bag all the way around the bottom, and you can wet sand the hell out of it. You see where I've started to wet sand, and I've used like 1000 grit. Now what I'm trying to do, and you can see the orange peel, when I take out all the spots to where this whole panel is absolutely dull gray with no shiny low spots, then the panel will be smooth. Now as you can see here, this is a problem that happens with the clear drying. Remember, matter is neither created nor destroyed. In a can of paint, you're going to have, say this is a can of paint, you're going to have a little bit of paint in the bottom, and the rest of it is going to be the reducer, which is a liquid which puts the paint onto the surface and smooths it out. But as the reducer dries, and you can smell it and it evaporates, reducer halfway evaporates and halfway chemically hardens. With lacquer reducer, it all just evaporates out. But as it evaporates, it shrinks. And as you can see here, right here, this is a good example, where I had this perfectly smooth with the primer, but the primer dried into a crack right here. And this crack is that little tiny loop. And you can see all the high and low spots that were in my work. It's not perfect, but you can see where it's drying, and it will keep drying as everything progresses. You can see here where, if you look very closely, you can see this is where the cutout was for the basket. What's happened is the primer and the paint and the clear have sunk into this outline right here. The other one is right over here, and it's got an outline. The thing is that I got my primer absolutely smooth, but it wasn't completely dry. Remember, as the reducer evaporates and halfway chemically hardens out of the paint shrinks, and when it shrinks into whatever is left. So you may have to go and not repaint it, but you may have to go and take your 1500 grit or 2000 grit and go back over it and then polish it back out. That's just normal for this little tiny work. As summer goes along and it gets hotter, the paint is constantly drying. And if you could put your nose, and this is on any kind of work, you put your nose right up to that paint. If you can smell anything, any kind of chemical or whatever, what's happening is your paint is drying and your paint is also shrinking. And you can see right here where the little line is. I think you can see that. And it's not a big problem. You just have to keep working on it. And that's what I use, 3M, 1000 grit with a little sanding block. You don't want to use your fingers because your fingers, and the tips of your fingers, you've only got maybe a couple inches of surface to work. With a plastic or a rubber block, you've got 15 or 16 square inches. And then I use a little bit of water, a little bit of soap to make the, and that's something I found. I'm not talking about politics, but that's something that that was just in the pictures years ago. And that was in the pictures years ago. This is what I was talking about. We're near the end of the pictures. This is the Charles Lindbergh wanted poster for the baby, and this was in my 1916 book on the detective work. And me, like an idiot, I sold this, and I should have kept it. And then there's me again with my son, and I do have to start wearing my suits again. I have a very kind personality. I want to teach the kids, but it's hard to do things when you're living with a partner that always calls you a totally worthless loser. So it's true what they say, behind every good man is a good woman. But on the other side of the coin, if you have someone that doesn't believe in you, it has an effect. But I keep trying, and hope springs eternal. And there we have the family. That was about 5 years ago. My little girl is about 8 years old now, and she's like all women, she won't shut the hell up. Now she started back-talk me. And anyway, that's the end of the pictures on this one disc. So from me and my son, and from our family to yours, I hope that my videos have helped, and I do it all for free because I was born to teach. And like I say, most of them, it's very rare I put myself in the videos because it's not about me, it's about my work. I'm not real Mr. Photogenic, so I'll let my work speak for itself. And God bless all my subscribers and fans out there, and I hope you like my work. Thank you.